Welcome, everyone. This is why I ran for mayor, so I got a full audience when we were doing something. We usually got 3 people, and that's it, Austin and my wife and somebody else. So, at this time, I would welcome you to the Board of Commissioners' regular meeting, December the 4th, 2018. I will ask the City Clerk, Beth Cecil, to please call the roll.
Commissioner Jay Vallada.
Here.
Commissioner Larry Condor.
Here.
Mayor Tom Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bob Glenn.
Here.
Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright.
Here.
Thank you. If you all would just please stand, and we're going to do the invocation and the pledge. Okay, please pray with us in a manner that you're most comfortable. You know, as we bury one of the nation's greatest heroes, George Bush, 41 president, you know, his mantra was always be a gentler, kinder world. So with those thoughts in mind, we pray. O loving and gracious God, we gather tonight in thanksgiving for all that you have done for us and continue to do. At a time when so many of us are asking for things we want, please guide us in your generosity to be thankful for what we have. We pray tonight to always have a mind that can forgive the bad, a heart that can forget the worst, and eyes that can always see the best in everyone. Most of all, guide us in our faith, because with faith comes love. Faith is a good thing, maybe the best of things. We pray in thanksgiving for all those who protect us, both at home and abroad. They keep us safe and protect us as they go into harm's way. We pray for those things that are silent in our hearts tonight. In God's name, we all say together, Amen. The pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, following the agenda tonight, the first item on the agenda in our presentation, we have a certificate of outstanding service. I'll read what this says. Hereby recognizes Jonathan Cook and extends its grateful appreciation for your outstanding service faithfully rendered while being employed the City of Owensboro from 1988 to 2018. I'll read a little bit about Jonathan, better known as Cookie, right? By his family and friends and co-workers, is considered by many to be one of the good guys. When speaking to anyone who has worked with him for over the last 30 years, he is most often known as that smiling face that greets you no matter what the circumstances are, whether it be the fun side of work or serving the citizens of Owensboro on duty through snowstorms, tornadoes, wind, and ice storms. He is always ready to lend a helping hand to his fellow employees. For 30 years, Cookie has been in charge of and watched over one of his favorite duties, Holiday in the Park. And he takes personal responsibility for its care to ensure the enjoyment for all who come to visit during the Christmas event. While his presence will be missed with his retirement, his positive attitude and camaraderie will be remembered always. It's with great honor we present this award to Cookie on behalf of the citizens of Owensboro, all the employees of the city, all those that have retired, and we thank him for 30 years of dedicated service to our great city. So all those who reside in the city of Owensboro, Kentucky are asked to join this recognition on this 4th day of December, 2018. Cookie. Would you join us, please? You've been here 30 years. You've been here 30 years. Okay. Okay, you ready? On three. Anybody else? Come on, Wayne. Might take Wayne a little while. He's thinking about it. Stay. Okay, but come on up there. One, two. Congratulations again. You like I'm not speaking. Come on, man. I just want to thank y'all. Thank us. You worked on it. You good? I'm good. Okay. You don't want to speak, Cookie? We got time? I'm okay. Okay. Oh. Let's go. Okay, at this time, I'm going to call on Chief Mitchell. He's going to present the 2018 Owensboro Fire Department Award recipients that may be in the audience. It's called an audible, Chief.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor, Commission. Appreciate it. And I appreciate you having us here this evening for a couple things. Every December, the Owensboro Fire Department announces our annual awards. And this year we brought 3 recipients with us, and we'd like to introduce them to you. We're going to start off with this gentleman was our previous Firefighter of the Year. He was a previous Cap Gardner Award winner. And this year he's our Fire Officer of the Year after being promoted to Lieutenant, Eric Cart. Eric? For our driver position, that could be either a firefighter that drives on a normal basis or an engineer. And this year, our driver operator of the year was Andy Owen. And our firefighter of the year, this is kind of the coveted award for all fire departments. And this year, it's an honor to introduce to you Clayton Tuma. Just real quick, there were some merit awards this year. Joey Wright, Luke Cecil, Ethan Board, Luke Camp, and Brian Roberts all received merit awards. And I want to say a little special shout out. We had a gentleman this year, a lieutenant, that got a merit award for 2 off-duty life-saving events, and that was Kyle Veach. Thank you, Mayor.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, man. All right. At this time, we're going to do something we've never done, so don't laugh if we get Beth pushes me in the wrong direction. So going to swear in our new firefighters and our police officers at the same time. So at this time, y'all know who you are, don't you? Don't have to call you up here, do it. Okay. We'll come out here and we're going to read this thing. It's gonna make you look good. All right, I'm gonna, while I'm reading this, a couple of things in there, unusual, no laughing. Okay, what are we supposed to do? Raise your right hand. So I'll read a little bit, ask you to repeat. Okay, and then we'll get to the stage, we'll ask you to say your firefighter. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of the State, so long as I am a citizen thereof, that I will faithfully execute the best of my ability. According to law. I do solemnly swear that since the adoption of the present Constitution, I, being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with every weapon within this state, nor out of it, nor have I sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with a deadly weapon. Nor have I acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offering, so help me God. Take a picture, get out of the way. Okay, Chief, you do something different.
Yeah, if you don't mind, we'll have the family members up and pin their badges real quick. Thank you.
It's awesome. I like doing it at the meeting.
Go right ahead.
This one better.
Thank you, Mayor.
More time. Well, not to be rude, but that's all the fun we're going to have tonight. So if you came for that, we'll allow you to leave because you don't want to hear Greg Strahan's speech, I promise you. You're welcome to stay.
Nobody wants to listen to you, sir.
It's okay, I'm sure they don't.
You gonna come here and give me 5, man?
How you doing? Yeah, Steve does. Yeah.
Thank you all for coming. Excuse me for not getting up. You're welcome. Now you can get back in your spot.
No, you don't want your turn, buddy.
I gotta wait in line.
He wants a golf. How about a power golf one?
Looking out in the lobby.
Okay. Now we'll go on with the business of the City of Owensboro. At this time, item number 4C on the agenda. We'll ask for Owensboro Health Annual Report. CEO Greg Strahan. Floor is yours, sir.
Good evening, Mayor Watson, Commissioners Glenn, Conder, Smith, Wright, and Vallata. My name is Greg Strahan, and I am the President CEO of Owensboro Health. Ordinarily, I would be joined by the Chairman of the Board, Jeff Carpenter, but he was unable to make this event tonight. He has served on the board since October of 2012, faithfully, I might add, and put in a lot of time and energy. However, I appreciate the opportunity to come before you formally each year, though it is our hope you find we are accessible and working on our communication with you on a regular basis. We'd like to I would like to present a short update and then respond to any questions you may have and listen to comments you might have on how we can further strengthen our efforts. Before I share the update, let me acknowledge the outstanding and dedicated Board of Directors appointed or elected from our 4 distinct groups. From the onset, this represents only the board during the period of which in time, which I guess I'll show you those guys. This is our board that was during the period of time in which this report was completed. We do have 2 new board members and 2 that have rolled off. Members appointed to represent the medical staff are Dr. William Harrison, a radiologist, Dr. Mike Yeiser, a pediatrician, Dr. Bridget Bashirs, a neonatologist and medical director of the Owensboro Health Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. Members nominated by the community organizations include Jeff Carpenter, Chairman of the Board, Robert Farmer, First Baptist Church, Jack Wells, our Vice Chair, and Vicki Stockstill, retired Chief Nursing Officer of Owensboro Health. Members appointed by the city include Debbie Nunley Winters, former city commissioner, Gavin Roberts of Kentucky Farm Bureau, and newly appointed member Phil Riney, who is not pictured on this slide. Phil joined the board on October the 31st, replacing Mr. Terry Woodward, who served faithfully the board for 9 years. Members appointed by the county include Suzanne Harris, CFO of Southern Star, Suzanne Northern Blazar, and attorney Angela Thompson. Dr. Tony McBride, an orthopedic surgeon, serves as the joint appointee of the city and the county. Dr. McBride is replacing Dr. Mark Millsap, the ophthalmologist who served on the board for for 6 years. These individuals represent the community and the hospital very well. These tireless and dedicated servants receive no compensation for their service, and yet each of them have a keen interest in the well-being of the people in Western Kentucky that we serve. It has been a very strategic year for Owensboro Health as we continue to execute our strategic framework that you see on the screen. We have focused on quality and safety, access and cost containment, and engagement of our patients, physicians, team members, and the communities in our region. You have in front of you our latest annual report, so I will not go into great detail, but would like to highlight a few of the important points at a high level. We remain focused on our mission to heal the sick and to improve the health of the communities we serve. To focus on our vision to grow as a regional center of healthcare excellence by actively listening and partnering to meet the individual healthcare needs of those we serve. And at the heart of this strategic framework, as you can see, is the patient. Owensboro Health this year celebrated its 5-year anniversary in our new location on Pleasant Valley, and since opening in 2013, it has grown significantly over those 5 years. We are a full-service comprehensive healthcare system that began as a city hospital in the late 1800s, but now provides health services to 17 counties in western Kentucky and southern Indiana. The growth of Owensboro Health in our region is good for the economy and for Owensboro and Davis County. I trust the city has benefited from the growth, and we look forward to more growth in the future. Although Owensboro Health, Davis County is where the health system began, we have grown to be a recognized leader in delivering safe, quality health care throughout the 17 counties we serve. The growth we experienced with the opening of our health plexes in Henderson, Muhlenberg, and Hopkins County in 2017, along with investments in new technologically advanced equipment such as the TrueBeam, have provided better access and better quality of care to our patients. We were also pleased to announce our partnership with the University of Louisville for our family medicine residency program to begin in 2020, which when fully staffed will train 6 new residents for each year for 3 years for a total of 18 residents when it's fully staffed. As you have heard me say before, our region needs access to health services, and if Owensboro Health doesn't provide that access, another healthcare system will. The residency will help provide some of the physicians needed in our region. Again, let me reiterate, a strong Owensboro health system is good news for Owensboro and Davis County. It's good for our patients, health, the economy, and for jobs. With all the changes in healthcare, hospitals and health systems across the country are consolidating with stronger hospitals, and in many cases, they're just closing. A number of systems have closed in recent months. Owensboro Health continues to be strong, and we believe our strategy will keep us strong into the future. To that end, we are implementing strategies that will keep us competitive in an ever-changing landscape of declining reimbursement, more regulations, competition, and rising costs. Those strategies will be in place beginning with the fiscal year 2020. A quick review of the economic impact of Owensboro Health and our workforce cannot be underestimated. Please turn to page 16 in your handout. Looking at the consolidated financials, we are a $1.8 billion gross revenue engine for Western Kentucky. For the seventh consecutive year, we've had no changes to our financial statements after our audit, which is very rare today. The system's net revenue grew by $16.6 million. Our supplies and utilities went down at a time when utilities went up significantly. Our payroll grew by over $6.3 million. We spent over $209 million on supplies, utilities, and other costs, much of that in this community. Note that these costs were less than last year despite a significant increase in utility cost. I commend our team for helping us reduce the cost and eliminate waste while maintaining a stable rating from the bond rating agency that we have. Please turn to page 17 if you don't mind. We remain the largest private employer west of Louisville. Most of our team members live in Owensboro and Davis County. Our total workforce for fiscal year 19, employees only, is 4,279 team members. Almost 60% of our workforce resides in Owensboro, Davis County, with the other 40% residing outside our primary market. With a payroll of almost $343 million last fiscal year, our team members contributed significantly to Owensboro, Davis County economy. Our workforce at Owensboro Health Regional Hospital alone contributed over $2.7 million in occupational taxes and $13.3 million in income and sales tax. That represents a sizable portion of the budgeted taxes to be collected within the city of Owensboro for fiscal year, or for year 2018 to 19 budget of $13.87 million. Also on page 17, you'll find our community benefit expenditures represents the organization's commitment to our second part of the mission, our mission to improve the health of the communities we serve. We have directly or indirectly supported agencies, organizations, and schools. Our investments help to bolster the city's effort, or in many cases reduce the burden of the city in making these investments. We provided almost $3.9 million in charity care and over $1 million in cash and in-kind contributions, with an additional $580,000 in community health investment grants. Investments are both targeted and strategically designed to address the healthcare needs identified in Owensboro Health's Community Health Need Assessment, which we are required to have surveyed every 3 years. We have a culture of giving that is not just reflected by Owensboro Health and the Owensboro Health Foundation, but also by our team members. We provided funding for 33 programs serving almost 6,400 people, bicycle helmets to prevent trauma in kids, breast cancer assistance, cancer center transportation, and numerous other programs are funded by the Owensboro Health Foundation. More than 2,600 individuals were reached by our hospitality suites, providing short-term, low-cost accommodations to those with loved ones in the hospitals, in our hospital. Last year, over 75 tons of food and $17,546 in cash was donated to Owensboro Help Office by Owensboro Health employees, representing nearly 50% of all donations. And last year, over $416,925 was donated to charities and service industries through our employee giving campaign, including over $154,000 to our local United Way. I personally take a great pride in the servant hearts of our team members. Are we complacent? By no means. We have a lot of work to do to change the culture of healthcare, and we want to be a leader in that movement. Change is coming, and then we need to make sure that the consumer chooses Owensboro Health as their hospital of choice. You can't beat loyalty, but loyalty will only come when we remove the barriers to access and process of care. Our commitment in this community and to the communities we serve in Western Kentucky is to serve the people of these great communities. When we win, this community wins, and your continued ongoing support, with your continued ongoing support, we can confidently say Owensboro, Davis County, and Western Kentucky will have health care that is affordable, accessible, and of the highest quality and safe care. Thank you for the opportunity to serve the people of Owensboro, Davis County, and the other counties in Western Kentucky. It is our privilege to do so. Questions?
What do you think is the greatest threat for municipally owned hospitals, so to speak, smaller hospitals in the coming days?
The greatest
threat.
The greatest threat. I think probably the greatest threat is the rising cost of the ancillary things like pharmacies, supplies, is probably the greatest threat. I mean, as a small well, now we have 2 hospitals with Muhlenberg, but as a small municipal hospital like we are, the problem of trying to reduce the cost, you don't have the leverage that the major hospitals, big hospitals do. Although we're one of 10 of the largest hospitals in the state of Kentucky, and we're part of a collaborative that has put together a $7 billion spend that we have as organizations across the state to leverage that to help our independent hospitals, which has been very helpful. So people like UK, U of L, Bowling Green, Owensboro, all of those hospitals are very important to driving down the cost of care in healthcare. But I think the other thing is we just have to be, I think, aggressively seeking to reduce the waste and eliminate that. And then finally, some part of the strategic things I think you'll see going forward is we have to take the blinders off and start looking at our industry as the consumer's industry. Consumers are in charge, and they vote, as y'all know, for those of you that just got through with an election. But I think it's important for us to look at the consumer and understand what the barriers are to entry into the system and make it easier for that to happen, and do so in a way that people feel good about what we've done and the costs that we've put out there. Starting in January of this year, we'll have to publish our prices, as will all other hospitals. Probably won't see much of a difference in terms of that because of the way they ask us to post it, but we are going to make an effort to put it out there where people can look at it and compare the pricing. That's going to be a significant change for us.
Greg, I'm concerned about the image the hospital has, and it bothers me when people talk about the hospital.
Me too.
And well, I'm sure it does. And when I lived in St. Louis, Barnes Hospital was one of the best hospitals in the country, but everybody in St. Louis said, don't go to Barnes. Whatever you do, don't go to Barnes. And I'm hearing that from people here in Owensboro, and that bothers me.
Right.
What can we do to improve the image? And also, things like we don't have care for adolescents or something that they're told that they've got to take them somewhere else. I mean, with a hospital the size of ours, isn't that odd that we would have to, if something happened to my child, and it's an emergency, I've got to take them somewhere else?
Well, I'll give you the reason for that, and it's a pretty simple reason, quite frankly. In an emergency room, we can take care of them, but if it's a specific issue for that child, pediatric subspecialty care is very difficult to have in a smart market this small. The more people you have, the more babies you have, the more volume of patients that you have that need that service, they are going to go and get it there. And we can't do that here. So what we've done is we've partnered with Norton, for example. They have a clinic here for GI, for heart, for genetics, and some of those kind of things that children need. But we don't have a large enough population to afford to employ or recruit a pediatric gastroenterologist, for example, or a pediatric cardiology. They're just not that big a population to draw from, even if you go into 17 counties, because there's only about 350, 400,000 people in that area. Most of those are not children, as you know. I think where we can draw people in is through our geriatric program. That's what the baby boomers are, right? We're all becoming geriatrics. But I think there's, I think that the problem with, how people feel about the hospital, obviously when there's something bad happens, and it does happen, and we don't make any excuses for that. It takes a lot to overcome that. We work very hard every day to make sure that we're trying to reach out to people and try to fix those things that aren't working well. I think that's part of that culture again. You have to build some loyalty. But people today are much like what they are as a consumer. Where do they shop? Why do we have a mall that's gone down? You know, I mean, it's because of things like Amazon, where you can go out and buy 24/7, 7 days a week. You can see everything on there that you want. You can order it and get it in 2 days. That's kind of where healthcare is moving to. The expectation is that I need to get it when I want it. And we don't disagree with that. We just have to put it in place to make it happen, and which is what we're working on.
As a follow-up, it's just, it sounds like we're in a catch-22, because if we don't have the facilities to take care of these young people, and then we want to know why we have brain drain and why the young people are leaving, because people want their children to be taken care of, so they would leave the city to go somewhere where that can happen. And it's just, it's frustrating.
Well, it is, and pediatrics is just one of those. When we went out to the new hospital, we had to rebuild our pediatric business. We used to send all of our neonatology, our NICU babies, to Evansville, to St. Mary's at the time, and that was a relationship we had with them. Well, now our NICU is a higher grade than everybody around except for St. Mary's, but we can do everything. We have 20-bed NICU beds. I mean, we see a lot of babies that are in the neonatal unit, and I think that's been a change. We put in 2 pediatric hospitalists. They're there to see them. If they come into the hospital in the ER, they're seen by the emergency room doctor. If he needs a consult from those to see if we have the services available. We are keeping kids, but we're not keeping the ones that you probably hear about, those that have, again, a heart defect, or they have a kidney issue, or they have neurological issues. I mean, you don't have any neurologists or neurosurgeons that actually will operate on a baby. They just don't have enough volume to keep that skill set. And you want them to have the right skill sets to be able to deliver that care. So we're trying to beef up all the things that we legitimately can do and do extremely well. And then we partner with other hospitals to make sure that those things that we have to send off, we do. And much like what a county hospital would do today, they would send them to us as opposed to sending them to Louisville, because we can take care of a lot more maybe than they can.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you have expanded to these health plexes in places like Hopkins and, Muhlenberg and Henderson, and both Hopkins and Henderson have pretty competitive hospitals there already.
Right.
Baptist, Methodist in Henderson, and Baptist in Hopkins. So is that more of a case of expanding the marketplace and the profile of Owensboro Health, or is that actually you're about a year into that? Is that pretty accurate, or less than a year? Are those turning into good profit centers for the hospital, or do they just expand our market brand?
I would say that they have exceeded budget by a fair amount, all 3 of them. The volume of business has been fairly brisk in those clinics. I would say that the revenue, downstream revenue, about $30 million a month.
So financially, it's done better than
the cost of the health places were $65 million for 3.
Okay. And the other question I've got is Medicaid. The state continues to insist on dealing with basically tying in a work and volunteer requirement. So I want to see what this looks like in practice. So I walk in, my Medicaid benefits are gone because I didn't get on the software and properly fill in the documentation or update my volunteer work. What happens to me is I'm having a seizure at your hospital and I don't have Medicaid, so I have no insurance.
You get treated.
You will still get treated.
Absolutely, no
Okay.
different than
That's
when there
under
was,
that charitable.
Well, it's just, I mean, we don't turn anybody away. If we have the ability to take care of them, we take care of them. We only turn them away, and we don't really turn them away. We will have them placed somewhere else if we can't take care of the business, and like the pediatric issue. But no, we take care of everybody. We don't look at We don't do a wallet biopsy on them, if you will, and we don't look at their Medicare card, or private insurance card. We take care of everybody.
Okay. And I said that was the last question. You have Logan County down here as part of your
Right.
service area. What are y'all doing down there?
We have a clinic at the request of Logan Aluminum and on site.
Oh, yeah.
And they use our facility in Muhlenberg Community Hospital.
Thank you, Greg.
You're quite welcome.
And thank you, Mayor.
Anything else?
Anybody else? Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
Mayor.
Appreciate your time. Okay, item number 5 on the agenda is consider the minutes, approval of the minutes, October 16, November 13. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please? Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 5B, at this time, I'd like to single out, not single out, maybe, that's a good term. I would like to reappoint Pamela Smith-Wright to a 4-year term expiring December the 31st, 2020. Could I have a motion to approve that, please?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none? Pam? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Then we'll go to the, move down to City Utility Commission. I would recommend that we reappoint James J.T. Fulkerson to a 3-year term expiring 2020. Next item is the Human Relations Commission, and I'll qualify that I'll probably mess up every one of these names. So reappoint Nahid Mataza to a 3-year term expiring October 18, 2021. Reappoint Angelica Almanza to a 3-year term expiring January 19, 2022. Appoint Anna M. Kuthi, Lauren Calhoun, Dr. Eunice Taylor, Ramon Gala, and Susan Thompson to a 3-year term expiring January the 1st, 2022. And to the Greater Owensboro Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, appoint Larry Maglinger to a 1-year term expiring January the 1st, 2020. Could I have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Item number 6 is an ordinance and its second reading, and we'll have a roll call vote afterwards. Counselor.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. The first ordinance is Ordinance 21-2018, an ordinance establishing an entertainment destination center in the downtown of Owensboro, and further directing the City of Owensboro to apply for an entertainment destination center license from the Kentucky Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, and further establishing the requirements for a licensee to sell alcoholic beverages within the common areas of the entertainment destination center. Publicly read on for approval on second reading this 4th day of December 2018.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion from the dais? Mr. Glenn?
I read it in the paper, so I assume that we amended the Smothers Park just to confirm that they're no longer in the zone, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
City Manager?
Shelton Memorial, is that what
Shelton
you're talking
Memorial.
about?
Yeah, did I say something else?
Smothers is already out.
Sorry, Shelton Memorial.
All right, so we
Thank
exclude
you.
the various religious institutions within the boundary, the Smothers Park Playground, and the Shelton Memorial.
Okay, I just wanted that clarification. Thank you.
Any discussion from the public? If you have, you go to the, yeah, we know what you said the same thing last time. We got you. Go ahead. You get, help yourself. State your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name's Andy Gamblin, 2920 Yale Place, the Roosevelt House. Like I said last time, I am definitely against this. This is not right. I mean, you know, y'all supposed to be watching over the people. By allowing this, you know, it's going to cause more harm than good. Our law enforcement, it's going to be bad on them, for them too. I mean, how can y'all go back to your churches and look your congregation in the face, look your pastors in the face? Please, I'm asking y'all, please vote this thing down. We don't need this.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Hi. My name is Amanda Tan, 3127 Dade Cove here in Owensboro. And this is my husband
With
and my
support,
son.
I see.
My son, Samuel.
Hello, Samuel.
He's been pretty patient. I'm not a public speaker, so this is something I'm pretty passionate about and looked over this. The reason I'm passionate about it is because we just recently moved to Owensboro. We enjoy Owensboro so much, and one of the areas that we go to frequently is Smothers Park in the downtown area, and just enjoy the atmosphere and the environment there. It's very family friendly. If you guys go down there too, which I imagine you do, if you just bring up scenes in your own mind, when you go to Smothers Park, you see couples holding hands, people sitting and enjoying the river, people pushing their babies in strollers, kids playing around, enjoying the fountains, trying not to climb in the fountains, parents keeping them out. And I'm just concerned that if this goes through, the way I understand it is it would allow pretty much all of Smothers Park except for the memorial and the playground, which Smothers Park is bigger than that, for people to bring alcohol during certain events into those areas. And that just changes the entire environment for a family. And there are some families like myself who, for our own family and our own family values, have chosen not to have our children around alcohol for a variety of reasons. For me, my grandpa was an alcoholic. My dad was an alcoholic. My brother is a recovering alcoholic, thank goodness. And I don't want my son to be an alcoholic. So that's why I'm not raising him around it. If this goes through, it also isolates alcoholics who are recovering. A lot of us can enjoy a drink or two over a meal, no problem, and that's okay. I don't have any issue with that. There are plenty of places in Owensboro we can do that, but there are recovering alcoholics that just being around it could cause a relapse, which for them could look like a failed marriage, like the loss of a job again. We all know recovering alcoholics. And I just think we want to keep the spirit of Owensboro family friendly. And really consider the potential backlash of this. If you've been in bigger cities, I've done a lot of traveling. I've been to places like Chicago during the Taste of Chicago. And those events allow alcohol to be present with the children, with the families. And when you bring pictures to your mind of those events, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? For me, I see red cups everywhere. That's what comes to mind, people that have had too many drinks. Some people are enjoying it responsibly, as will always be, but there are those who just can't. And it just changes the entire environment. And I just picture Smothers Park, where we love to go, in downtown area where we love to go, turning into a scene like that where when we think of it, our image changes. We begin to see red cups. We begin to see people who have consumed too much. And we isolate people in our community from being able to be part of these events, which that's the reason that they're there. That's why we spend so much money on Smothers Park. It's a gorgeous place. It's where we all love to come and be as a community together, regardless of our situations. And I just think that this would isolate people during certain events where we just want to come and be together as a community, take a minute, a break from our busy schedules, our phones, being locked into our houses with our babies. Alcoholics that are recovering, they can't go to the bar and socialize like a lot of other people can do responsibly. They can't go there. These are places that are safe for our whole community to come together. And so I just think we should really consider this before we just pass this on through. I think it's a bigger deal. I think it's a big deal.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, so we're excluding the Shelton Memorial, but that they can do it in the Smothers Park, is that correct? Explain that to me, city manager.
Sure, Mayor, we're excluding the Shelton Memorial and the playground, the Lazy Days playground area of the park.
Okay, the
playground, basically, so that would be from the restroom area over to the eastern end of the Shelton Memorial.
So what's wrong with just excluding the whole park then?
If that's the desire of the commission, we certainly could.
Anybody have any comments about it?
Well, it begs the question, so what does that leave? Let's say we do that, what does that leave? Give us
Well,
a,
it would leave the area west of the restroom facility. So the fountain area between there and the VFW, I guess.
McConnell Plaza
McConnell Plaza is included, yes.
would be included
Correct.
in the part that could be
That's
allowed
correct.
to do it. Okay, because that's kind of off to the side. So. I would, I don't know, are we allowed to amend this? I mean, I don't know the procedures here. Can we amend the map?
Steve?
It could be amended, but depending on the suggested amendment, we would have to have another reading. We can't have an amended reading, the deciding
Well, I
reading
think,
at the same.
I would be for taking a closer look at just the length and breadth of what this young lady and Mr. Galbraith talked about. I think we need this type of destination in our community. It's been hard enough to try and figure it out. Tim Ross, who has been putting this together for the last couple of years, not here tonight, out on vacation or something. So so what do we say, just table this until we talk about it a little bit more? Is that the procedure? I don't know.
That's what the commission, if that's the desire of the commission, they can table this or ask staff to look at these particular issues a little bit closer, come back and make any proposed changes that may be approved by the commission.
Okay, well, I would be for tabling this and taking a closer look at just exactly what we're talking about as far, the next person is going to come and say, well, why don't you stop it from here to here? And then the next person is going to say, why don't you stop it from here to here? But I think we should, I for one think we should go ahead and take a little closer look at the extent of Smothers Park and what we actually should be trying to protect the children from and all those that are opposed to alcohol. And then come back, write the ordinance to reflect that, and then we can vote again. So,
Mayor, now there is, as you know, probably there is a map, that we've included that shows the areas that are
okay, let's put that
addressed.
up on the thingamajig. That doesn't tell me anything. Where's Smothers Park? Is that right there where that dark spot is? Okay. You will speak when spoken to and come to the mic if you're going to talk, please. Thank you. I'm struggling up here trying to figure this out, so don't. So right now we're excluding in this scenario only the Shelton Memorial that's in the park from, let's say, the River Park Center to the VFW. Is that correct?
That is not correct. It
Okay.
also excludes the playground.
All right, the playground, where does it extend from where to where?
I was going to show you on the map, but this area, Mayor, is the restroom facility, and then this is the eastern boundary of the playground. So this is the playground
So
area.
we're going from the eastern boundary of the playground to the restroom.
Correct.
And so the fountain and all that stuff is included in the district.
That's correct. It is over this area.
Okay.
It is shaded in blue.
This area, we came up with this particular area and looking at other communities that have the entertainment destination centers. And there was, the intent of staff to make sure that the family-friendly areas stay that way, that this would not be a situation where the general public with maybe small children at the park or at the playground would not have to deal with somebody that may be under the influence or somebody simple as that in the park area. It's also limited as to the time and place as to when it will be open to the public.
Meaning what?
Well, that it would not be this way all of the time. There'd be special events.
So the public would be aware that we're having a special event at Smothers, from the restroom to down however far it goes, and that you should not come down there if you're opposed to alcohol. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, sir, that, the,
Well, may I ask a question?
Sure.
All right, so my question is this. If you have a special event permit, Tim Ross is going to coordinate this along with the committee, correct? That's the structure we're looking at. Is it possible to close Smothers Park for, say, let's say I'm having an event and it's 2 hours, and it's a charity event. It's for a good cause, but I'm allowing, you know, beer and alcohol to be sold in that 2 hours or available. Can you close Smothers Park so you don't have the issue the folks are talking about with families? They're not wandering through there. And then after 5 o'clock, we're good to go. We reopen it. The public goes out and does whatever they normally do.
Smothers Park is generally open 24 hours per day, and it'd be very,
That's why I'm asking, right. So
Very
it would not
difficult to
be
enforce
practical
that.
to close it down even for that 2 or 3 or 4 hour block.
that's
Okay.
correct.
Well, and the other option, much easier possibly, is this: if we understand that your intent is not to allow events in the park, we just would not permit events in the park. You know, there is a review process. They require permit, they require insurance, and the various things that we typically require. So if we know that's your interest or that's your intention, we just would not permit any events to occur in the park.
Then, yeah, I mean, given the answer I'm getting from our legal counsel and you, I would recommend we go back and maybe look at just blocking out Smothers Park, the riverfront part out of it, because I do agree. I see a lot of families walking through Smothers Park with their children and, you know, kids. And I mean, I understand on the other side, there's a lot of good events, community events that occur on streets where they block a street off. And I think that's fine. I mean, White on Second, that the orchestra does, is an excellent event, and they've been hamstrung by our current rules. So they are the example of how this could be done positively, I think. So,
Commissioner Smith, right?
I'm not opposed to looking at this again, but what is the difference if someone has been to someplace else and had too much to drink and walked to Smothers Park and goes into the playground area? I mean, it's still, you know, it's still somebody
Open to
who,
the public, isn't it?
yes, it's still someone who's had too much to drink, but they had it somewhere else in a enclosed bar or restaurant or whatever, and they choose to go down on the riverfront.
Right, Friday after 5 would be, I guess, kind of a similar situation for the place down at the River Park Center where alcohol is sold. Individuals can come and go. Now, they cannot take alcohol out of that particular area.
Yes, sir, Dr. Reeves.
Mayor Fred Reeves, 3520 Ashlawn Drive. This entertainment district was probably one of the top 2 or 3, it was probably the top issue when we did the OBKY project, which involved over 500 citizens, okay? I think the main thing about it, and I think the city attorney has said this rather well, but from just a citizen perspective, this is a highly, highly regulated event, okay? It is place specific, it is time specific. You're going to have to go through a fairly rigorous application process to get a permit to do it. It's going to be in a very specified place, specified time. You're also going to have to provide security, and you're going to have to pay police presence for there. So while I understand folks being concerned about Smothers Park, as I would be too, because I take my grandkids down there on occasion, but it's highly unlikely you would have one very near Smothers Park to start with. You're more likely to have it down around McConnell Plaza. So I don't know what you would have in basically around where the fountain area is. Not to say somebody couldn't apply for that, could also be denied. The other thing is, as I think Ms. Smith Wright pointed out, somebody did, you know, actually the symphony should have been cited for their event they had on 2nd Street, because there was not a regulation that allowed you to do that. So this basically just allows us to have specific events going through a rigorous application process that is highly secure and will, I think, make us look like the progressive community that we want to be for all of our citizens. So any questions, I'll be glad to answer them as far as from the perspective of how it got on the OBKY radar, but thank you.
Okay.
Josh Cook, Hawthorne Drive. My only concern is I kind of respect you for what you have said. I think it's a good thing that the commission is going to relook at it, hopefully. My only thing is asking the chief of police. You know, several commission meetings I've come to, he's talking about how understaffed he is already. Opening up, carrying alcohol or whatever. I think you're looking at spreading our police too thin. Miss Pam Wright said that, you know, what's keeping people from walking from restaurants or whatever. The only thing about giving free will as to the, you know, parties or whatever go on down there that are restricted and have security is you're looking at 1 or 2 people leaving a restaurant as to hundreds or thousands of people that could be at this party. I think that's kind of what she's concerned with. It's not the 1 or 2, it's the 500, 600, 700 people that will be down there consuming alcohol and walking through the park. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
You guys got anything you want to add?
Sir.
Well, you know, on the other side of it, it's not something that can't be changed in the future, you know, if we have an issue. So I think we should go ahead and have our vote, see how we're going to vote on it. If it passes, so be it, and we'll just monitor it and see just exactly what issues may occur, and we'll just you know, change it as we go along, just like anything else we pass. Okay, so motion and it's second. We've had discussion. I guess roll call.
Commissioner Vallada,
Yes.
Commissioner Conder,
Yes.
Mayor Watson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Glenn,
No.
Commissioner Smith-Wright.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you all. All right, Counselor, item 6B, please.
Thank you. Ordinance 22-2018, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2018 and ending June 30th, 2019, and amending Ordinance 9-2018 to receive donations for dog park and set up the dog park project, and to receive transit grant funds, set up the related transit projects, and reduce general fund transfer to transit accordingly, and to transfer funds from Capital Improvements Fund to International Bluegrass Music Center Fund per agreement. Publicly read for approval on second reading this 4th day of December, 2018.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, any discussion from the dais? Hearing none, any discussion from the public? Okay, we'll roll call again.
Commissioner Conder,
Yes.
Mayor Watson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Glenn,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith-Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Vallada.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda would be the city manager's items, and item 9A, personnel appointments, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Brian Roberts, probationary, full-time, non-civil service appointment, promotional appointment to fire lieutenant with the police department, excuse me, fire lieutenant with the fire department effective October 9th. David Lopez, probationary, full-time, non-civil service appointment to maintenance worker with Public Works effective December 17th. Kimberly Tigner, probationary, full-time, non-civil service appointment to paralegal with the administration department effective December 17th. And Martin Brooks, regular, full-time, non-civil service appointment to police officer effective December 11th.
I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. You have any comments, city manager?
No additional comments tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Comment, communication from the elected officials? Commissioner Smith-Wright?
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
I just want to take this time and wish everybody a happy holiday. I won't be at our next meeting because of some health issues with my husband. So I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday and safe. Thank you.
You're welcome. Commissioner Vallada?
No further comment, Mayor. Just glad to be here as always. Thank you.
Commissioner Glenn?
Nothing.
Commissioner Conder?
Just one thing, Mayor, Commissioner Smith-Wright, I hope your health issues with your husband goes well over the last 2 weeks. Our prayers are out toward him and yourself as a caregiver. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Okay, we'll have open public forum at this time. Members of the audience are invited to address City Commission on any matter of public concern that was not on tonight's agenda. Commission meetings are held to conduct city business for the benefit of the citizens and taxpayers. Speakers make their way to the podium, state their name and address for the clerk's record, and limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less. Mayor reserves the right to extend time to the speaker. Anybody want to speak at this time from public forum? Nice beard, man. God.
My name is Jeremy Higdon, Southeastern Parkway.
Hi, Jeremy.
How are you doing this evening, everyone?
Good.
I was here. I spoke with several people on the committee and the city manager.
Try and get that mic a little closer to you, please.
I spoke with several people on the committee, as well as the city manager, about Article 21. It's an issue that I'm having with my business not being able to be put downtown. On Article 21, it states that tattoo and piercing studios are no longer allowed in the downtown district. Trying to see where you guys are with this situation as far as I've brought it up to everyone.
Well, it's not on tonight's agenda, so we really don't have to comment on it, but we are going to go into closed session a little while later and talk about it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay. This time, I'll make a motion to enter into closed session under KRS 61.8101C to discuss proposed or pending litigation. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. For the media, we really don't anticipate any action following this closed session. Okay, let's go.